Yeah, man. Fresh perspective. We about to get this thing cracking. What's good? All right, y'all know what it is, man. It's D stand for the professional, man. I'm out here with the Fresh Perspective crew. D Burks, what's good, man?
What's going on, bro?
That's what's up, man. Bo 2.0 was in the building. What's good, Bo?
What up, world? How y'all doing? Rest in peace on Nipsey Hussle, man. Let's get it.
Hey, man, you know how we started the show, man. Shout out to Nipsey Hussle, man. And then we got Mr. Denzel Chappelle, Courtney Chappelle. What's going on, man?
What up, world? I'm alive. I'm here.
It's always good to hear, man. Always good to hear. Hey, man, we got a jam-packed show for y'all tonight. Without further ado, man, I want to go ahead and jump into it. So let's talk about it, man. Final Four men's basketball happened this weekend. We're going to keep it short and sweet. We got Texas Tech going into the national championship versus Virginia, and a lot of people are skeptical as to one of the teams not belonging in the national championship, but we're going to get into that. Texas Tech took out Michigan State, and Virginia took out Auburn in a controversial win. And a lot of people are talking about how they feel like Auburn got cheated in the game. And so I'm going to go ahead and start out with the Oracle tactician, Mr. D. Burtz. And I want you to go deep in terms of how far, basically what happened in the game, what cost Auburn the game, and what do you think should have happened in the game? Do you think that the ref should have made the controversial call at the end? I'm going to let you dig a little bit deep into that, man. But D. Burtz, man, go ahead and go deep in it.
Well, you know, it's real simple. The referees missed a double-dribble call because they missed a double-dribble call. Anything that happened after that would not have happened if they would have made that call. There's no deeper to go into it. That's it.
Okay. But a lot of people feel like the game should have never been that close. A lot of people feel like that Auburn made a couple of other crucial mistakes down the stretch. They allowed Virginia to stay in it when they could have taken the game over where it wouldn't have been that close. Do you have a take on that?
Well, I'm not going to, discredit some people's opinion. You got to understand that Auburn is out there operating without their best player and their closer who probably would have took care of that situation for his ball club if he was able to be in the game. Let's not act like Virginia is just a scrub team. That is a veteran team. They are number one seed. They were the overall number one seed last year. They trying to get back and do what they need to do. But with that being said, they were done without that double dribble call. The double dribble call was what gave them life. And Kyle Guy, being the McDonald's All-American that he was, playing for a lot, leading his team, he stepped up and made those free throws down the stretch to win them the game. But if they make the double call, nothing happens. Nothing. They're going home and watching with us tomorrow.
That is an interesting take, D. Burtz, and it is the take that a lot of people across the nation have taken. But I think that I feel like there's a lot of controversy around that. I feel like even with respect to the three-pointer foul call in terms of Kyle Guy landing in a place where he normally would have been able to land with a foul call, but in that situation when there's less than 1 second left to go on the clock, a lot of people feel like he shouldn't have made that call in that situation. And I think Bo 2.0 was one of those people. So, Bo, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna let you go at this one, man. How do you feel about what happened in the Auburn game versus Virginia, and what do you feel about Virginia's status as to whether they belong in the national championship?
Well, to talk about what you were saying earlier, the game should have been close. Virginia was favored to win. They was favored by 16.5 points. They was favored to win the game. Auburn was down by 10 points with 3 minutes left, and they made a comeback. Auburn should have won the game. The double dribble was a missed call. But if I was a ref, I just hate when the game ends like that. I feel like the ref dictated the game.
Was it a
even
foul?
Though he got bumped, I don't think it affected the shot though. That's just me personally. I don't think that affected the shot. I feel like everybody when the game is on the line, when you take a game winning shot like that, everybody flops. Everybody get bumped. So I don't think it affected the shot. Like I told y'all yesterday in the chat. Y'all might say I'm crazy, but if that was a black kid shooting that ball and a white kid did that, I don't think the black kid get the call. That's just how I feel.
I'm not really trying to go with that dynamic. What I'm asking you is that when he shot the basketball, did the Auburn defender give him a chance to land? If he did not, that is a foul.
I don't think that affected. And that's the case. If you gonna call it like that, I mean, you got to call it like that the whole game, which they wasn't doing. That's all I'm saying. They wasn't calling like that the whole game. If you gonna call it like that the last play of the game, you got to call like that the entire game.
That's an interesting take. That's an interesting point of view to take on that, Bo, because typically in any game, when a shooter takes any shot, if he's not allowed to land in the same place that he took off in, he is typically given a foul in that situation. But I definitely understand where you're coming from with that. However, a lot of people across America, especially Virginia fans and those in the DMV area, would say that it was the right call in that situation. However, if you look at the last 0.6 seconds, it seemed as though the Auburn player that caught the cross court pass,
he got bumped too.
He got bumped in the same exact manner that Kyle Guy got bumped. And so to take it from that point of view, in three different scenarios where skeptical calls were made, I'd like to hear what Courtney Denzel Chappelle got to say. So Courtney, what's your take on that?
I'm gonna be real with y'all. Because I didn't watch it in its entirety, and I skimmed through a lot of it, I'm going to tell you my real take. And I don't know who I spoke to, whether I spoke to D. Stanfield or I spoke to Burst. One of them I spoke to. But my take is that goddamn Kyle Guy. I knew it. I knew if Virginia had a chance to get there, it was his ass.
Yep.
And for some odd reason, they kept him around, and he did what he's supposed to do. He is All-American. Y'all treating Kyle Guy like he's regular. He gonna
Not me.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
He's going to get the call because he's one of those guys, and those type of guys get the call. Zion got a lot of bullshit calls. Nobody worries. Kyle Guy got the call that he deserved to get because that's who he is. And he
made the free throws.
And he made the big shots. And that's the story for me. I don't care about none of that. Things happen in games. There's a lot of BS call made for BS. It don't matter black or white. There's a lot of bullshit calls made, and they don't make them tough it out.
Hey, can I ask you a question? If you was a ref, would you make that call?
What I would have made? No, I would have expected it.
Okay, but you want to make that call if you was the ref?
No, that's just my personal opinion. But I would have expected it if I was the shooter.
Yeah, but he didn't. Kyle Guy didn't expect the shot. After he missed the shot, you seen what he did? He put his jersey over his head because he felt like he should have made the shot.
Yeah, okay. That's what scorers want to do. That's what one of them guys at that moment want to do. Make the shot. But I got the foul call on it even sweeter. He still got to knock the free throws down. I seen people get to that line and get that call and miss some free throws, and they still ain't in this game.
I've seen that. That's why Duke was not playing yesterday.
Bingo. Bingo. So the story to me, unfortunately, because I didn't want to see another ACC dude in there, I'm telling you I'm hating. Whoever I spoke to out of D or D Bird, all I remember saying is, Kyle Guy is always the threat, and I don't want to see his ass go. I just didn't want to see him go.
I believe that conversation. Yeah, I believe that conversation happened with D. Burst. It definitely wasn't with me. And you brought up
it wasn't with me either because I would have agreed with you on the Kyle Guy.
Yeah, I think I would have agreed with you on the Cal Guy thing as well. That's actually a very relevant point, and I think that you're absolutely right when you talk about how people undervalue the value of Cal Guy. He is not regular. He deserves he definitely deserved that call in that situation. Not to say that he's like a Kobe or anything like that, but when you talk about a person that has played his dues throughout his course of time with Virginia,
All-American who came up
All-American,
absolutely, worked his
absolutely.
way. Virginia been on the cusp the whole time. They've been right there for the last 3 years.
And when it comes to somebody making big shots, it's usually Kyle Guy for them, because historically, let's be honest, that historically Virginia has not made it past. They have not made it past certain points in the NCAA tournament because their knock has been they don't have a guy to get you a clutch bucket in clutch times. And Kyle Guy has stepped up time and time again throughout this year, even though they've had some questionable losses. He stepped up time and time this year, so he deserves it.
I got a question for y'all. If Kyle Guy carried them into a national championship, big game and all, right? Kyle Guy carried them into a national championship when big guy and all. He put himself in the lottery.
I don't think Kyle Guy's an NBA player. I think Kyle Guy's a college basketball player.
What?
I'm gonna jump into this and I'm gonna say I starkly disagree with that. Kyle Guy defends the ball. He's fundamentally sound and he can shoot the rock.
He's not guarding no NBA players.
Okay.
He's not guarding no. Kyle Guy's a two guard in a point guard body.
He's not guarding NBA players, sir.
Kyle Guy's a two guard in the NBA body.
Hey, let me ask you a question, Bo. Is Kyle Guy not a better defender than JJ Redick?
I don't know. We never seen.
Is he a better defender than JJ Redick?
We don't know.
Is he a better defender than Kyle Korver? Because his ability to shoot the rock, is
what you're saying, though,
on that level.
Kyle Guy is a shooting guard in a point guard's body. That's what I'm saying. He's only 6'2". He's not guarding no two. With two guards,
wait. JJ Redick is only 6'4". It's 2 inches.
That's a big 2 inches. JJ Redick was that guy at Duke.
And Kyle Guy's the guy at Virginia.
Kyle Guy not even the highest prospect. He's not even the highest post prospect on his team.
But he's the guy at Virginia.
Jay Hunter's the one that going lottery.
But he's the guy at Virginia.
Man, if you look at the mock drafts,
it's funny how
DeAndre Hunter in.
Hey man, the key word in mock draft is mock, meaning mockery.
It's funny how you make comments like that, but yet and still the guy that you're trying to accentuate in this situation doesn't get the ball at the end of the game.
You said what?
He's not the guy that they go to get the bucket. It's Kyle Guy. So let's be realistic about this.
Hold on. Did you see the Purdue game? Who got the bucket? Did you see the Purdue game?
In what situation?
When the game was tied, DeAndre Hunter got the bucket. He got the ball.
Oh man, it's always easy. It's easy to shoot the ball
when the game is tied. There's no pressure. But when you need a big shot, when you down by 1 or 2,
I do believe that D. Stanford, I do believe that the guy Bo is referring to is a better pro prospect. But to think that Kyle Guy would not play in the NBA, that's just far from false.
I'm not saying that Hunter is not more NBA ready. What I'm saying is that his insinuation that Kyle Guy is not an NBA player is ludicrous.
See, I don't think Kyle Guy's going to get. I don't think if he do get drafted, he's going second round. And I think Kyle Guy will be back for his senior year next year. That's what I'm saying. I don't think Kyle Guy's coming out after this year. I don't. And that's a
different conversation, Bo. That's not the conversation that we're having.
That's what I'm saying. He goes second round. He would have to make a roster instead of having a roster spot.
He's going to have to do that anyway. No, what you said was he ain't making it to the NBA. That's what you said.
Let me ask
That's
you a question.
exactly what you said.
Do you think Kyle Guy was better than Joel Berry?
Yes. Yes.
All around?
Do you think Kyle Guy better than Joel Berry? No.
Yes.
All around?
No.
Yes.
He can't do nothing. No, he's not better than Joel Berry all around.
Yes.
Joel Berry's not even on the roster.
Yes, he's better than Joel Berry.
What can he do better than Joel Berry, Burst?
Everything.
What can he do better than Joel Berry?
Everything.
Put that bitch on the floor. He's a shooter.
Everything.
What do you think he better than Joel Berry?
Joel Berry played basketball 4 years at North Carolina to get to the level he was. Kyle Guy came in as a McDonald's All-American. That's not something that is normal.
They both was McDonald's All-American. You better go look it up. Don't try Joe out like that, nigga.
Hey man,
Don't watch your mouth.
Watch your fucking mouth.
Hey man, whenever you get through, you can get as loud all you want. Close the gym. Kyle guy is burning him up.
Because the Duke guy just got disrespectful when he talked about Joe Barry. You better watch.
Yeah, he did. Did he? He really did, Courtney. Talking about Kyle guy was a McDonald's All-American like Joe Barry wasn't. Don't you disrespect Joe Barry.
Nobody's worried about Joe Barry but you two guys, and all three of you guys. All three of you guys are North Carolina guys, so I'm proud of y'all for repping y'all guy. Kyle guy is the guy. Close the gym down. He's cooking Joe Barry. Period. Barry.
I think it's crazy that we're talking about a Duke guy, and D Burks, because D Burks is a Duke fan, and we talk about his team in terms of their coach, in terms of him being one of the best coaches in the game. And one of the conversations that we had in the chat on numerous occasions was that Tom Izzo, if Coach K is the best coach in the game, then we've had numerous times in the chat where Tom Izzo, and shout out to Ice, he accentuates this on numerous occasions, that Tom Izzo is one of the best, is the second best coach in the game. If you're going with Coach K as the best coach,
I disagree with that.
I disagree with that.
A lot of people disagree with that. I am not one of those. I also am a huge Tom Izzo fan, but his team, despite going into the half with a lead, took a 10-point loss to Texas Tech yesterday. And so I really want to understand two questions. Why do you feel like Michigan State was unable to become successful, was to come out of that game successful, number one? And number two, where does Tom Izzo sit in terms of all-time coaches? So I'm gonna go with D Burts on this one as well. D Burts, please go ahead and answer both of those questions, and please be very detailed on this, because I might have a rebuttal for you on that.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, you can rebuttal. You can rebuttal. You know what I'm saying? I think Tom Izzo is easily a top 7 coach in basketball. He's one of the best coaches in the game. Don't get that confused. But one thing that I do not like about Tom Izzo is that when he has the teams, when he has the talent, he doesn't do the best job of manifesting the talent into championships. It's a reason why he's been to the Final Four 8 times with talented teams each time and do not get it done, because that's an indictment on him as a coach. It's just that simple. He was the only coach in the tournament left with an All-American. He has a first-team All-American point guard. Shout out to the All-American committee for picking a point guard with the game on the line. Can't create his own jump shot to get the win. But, you know, I'm not on that committee. But that's still a testament to him. We watched Michigan State play all year. Cassius Winston was the reason why he was there, because he was able to get his points, and he was also able to run their offense. Texas Tech matched up with them perfectly because they switched everything. And because they was able to switch everything, Michigan State didn't have another ball handler to take care of the switches when they get the matchup that they want. Period.
Okay. I would I think that's a reasonable argument. Bo 2.0, do you have a rebuttal?
Yeah, I definitely disagree with Tom Izzo, the second best coach in college basketball. The knock on Tom Izzo at first was that he wasn't getting enough the talent that he needed. The last 4 or 5 years, he get the McDonald's All-American. He don't get the job done. He just don't. I mean, he been away. He got 1 championship. How many years at Michigan State? How many years he been there?
Well, I'm gonna ask you something, Bo. I think that I think that people kind of lose sight of how hard it is to actually win a championship. Like it's not as easy as one would make it seem.
Izzo ain't better than Roy.
He ain't better than Roy. I don't think Izzo better than Jay Wright.
I don't either.
Shit. Izzo top 5, but I can name 3 coaches I take over Izzo: Roy, Jay Wright, and obviously Coach K. But other than that, I mean, it's a toss. I mean, I take him over Calipari.
Anything else, you'll be starting to get into the disrespectful realm. I agree.
Sure. Unless, I mean, Tony Bennett, I mean, this gonna be his first time in the championship game. He hasn't won this, so I can't try him yet.
You got to win one first.
So Courtney, I think that you jumped in and you said that he's not better than Roy, and I find that I find that declaration, and I think that everybody else in the chat echoed that sentiment, as well as the Jay Wright sentiment. But here's something that I'd like to extend to you in terms of a question. Tom Izzo had the 19th ranked team going into the preseason rankings for this season. Ahead of him were teams like number 1 Villanova, Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, North Carolina, Gonzaga, Virginia, Michigan, Auburn, Tennessee, Nevada, West Virginia, and others alike, including Florida State, Bowl 2.0, one of Bowl 2.0's teams, even though it's not on the basketball side. So I say to you this is the second time in 2 years, so 2 for 2, that Tom Izzo has not had a top 15 team going into the season, and yet he's ended up in at least the Elite Eight, and in this case, the Final Four. So the declaration is to say that he's had the players to get it done doesn't necessarily reflect as far as the NCAA committee in terms of evaluation of talent is concerned.
But
So
a lot of those
preseason
rankings, D. Stanfield, goes to the recruiting classes that come in.
Right. And so if you don't have
not based off actually what happens when these teams play each other when the season goes on, because once the season started, you see where Michigan State was at.
Right, but one thing that you can say about Roy Williams, Jay Wright, and Coach K that you can't necessarily say about Tom Izzo is that they have all had one and dones on the team.
I'm gonna tell you like this,
including Kentucky.
I just want to speak on this because I'm glad we got.
One and done Jay Wright had. He ain't no one and done.
But listen, hold on, Bo. I'm glad we got to this because this was me and Courtney has discussed this, and I've got some information over this today.
Mikal Bridges wasn't the one and done, dog.
No, listen, no. This is what I'm saying.
No,
this is what I'm saying. I don't care if it's a McDonald's All-American. I don't care who it is. These coaches have the opportunity to pick the guys that they want in the program, and they deal with that. Like Coach K edge prior to going to these one and dones, which was mainly those were the players that was Jeff Capel bringing in, because you remember Coach K used to do it this way. He used to pick the guys that he want, and then he'll go bring in a McDonald's All-American guard. One guard, that's it. And then you have a team full of veteran players. So these guys elect to do it that way. Your boy Calipari does it that way because that's his only claim to fame. His claim to fame is I'm going to get the McDonald's All-Americans, I'm going to get them all, and I'm going to put them on the team, I'm going to put them in the system, and we're going to go on a tournament run. Kentucky like that because they think that's how they're going to restore their basketball royalty. Roy Williams, I like the way Roy Williams still does it. Yeah, we'll get one or two, but I like to build my team so I can bestow my philosophy and basketball principles on my team. I like that. Same thing that Tom Izzo does. He selects his guys. Now, he may have had pressure or feel the need that he needs one or two McDonald's All-Americans, but for the most part, he picks the guys that fits in his system, and he has success doing it.
What's your point,
though? Yeah. What are you saying, Bert?
No, my point is I don't have a problem with the way Tom Izzo builds his team. His problem is the Duke game, and let's just be clear. He is 2-11 against Coach K in the tournament. If he would have beat Coach K more in the tournament, he probably would have more rings. That's why I
Coach K in this tournament.
Yeah, he did. That's his second win.
But he doesn't have a ring.
Second win in 13 games, D.
I think. Let me say something.
So he did what he needed to do.
Right, but the thing, and I want you to go ahead and go in on this, Courtney. The only thing that I will say is that Coach K has visibly, on paper and theoretically and literally, had the better team in each one of those matchups. So I'm not going to say that I'm not going to dismiss Tom Izzo as a better.
I didn't
coach.
think that Duke had. I didn't think that this year Duke had a better team than Michigan State when they matched up.
Because you're reflecting on the bench, but the starting five was by far.
That's the team, D.
But okay.
Courtney, I don't want to come on with the cap shit, man.
Go ahead, Courtney. Courtney, I apologize. Courtney, I apologize for cutting you off. I want you to go ahead and go into this.
Yo, y'all making a lot of first of all, what y'all not gonna do is be on here making excuses. At least while I'm not on here. And y'all can let D Burst go on that rampage and make that bum ass excuse.
Yeah, all that bullshit you talking about. I want to hear that shit.
For these coaches having these number one recruits and all these. Hold on, don't do that. For these coaches having these number one recruits and these star athletes and these star talents, and them not putting them in the right position, or they're not developing them properly, or they can't handle them. There's a reason why the ones who was doing it in the beginning You just said his claim to fame over there in Kentucky was I'm gonna get all Americans and I'm gonna put them on one team. His claim to fame was also I'm gonna be able to develop them, yell at them, and get them to be a little bit better than what they are when they left here as well. So add that to his resume when you say that. Coach K joined that game. Now Coach K got to adjust to that game and learn how to deal with them kids. You making an excuse for that boy. You know he's supposed to win.
I didn't make no excuse for that boy. You didn't put it. Hold on. What you know, bro? Because you just tried to speak for me. See, you always call it an excuse, but it's validity to what I just said.
Let him talk, bro. Let him talk.
Without cutting off anybody. Multiple times. 6 years, bro. He had the #1 recruiting class. You telling me that boy is supposed to get at least 2, 3?
You didn't hear what I said. You didn't hear what I said. Again, you taking what you said and you have your own opinion, and that's not what I said. What I said was his top recruiting coordinator was Jeff Capel. That's what Jeff Capel liked to do, and Coach K signed off on it. I'm not disagreeing. That they were supposed to have.
So you telling me Coach K did what Jeff Capel did? Because of what
that's his top recruiting coordinator, bro. He signed off on it. You didn't listen to what I'm saying.
That's some bullshit.
Okay, bro. So what the fuck do you have a top recruiting coordinator for then? Explain his role on the team, bro. Coach K signed off on it. I said that.
I got a question.
You missed what I said, bro. You don't
Go ahead with your question, Court.
I got a question. Over the last 10 years, out of Kentucky, Michigan State, Duke, North Carolina, Kansas, Villanova. No, Villanova. Kansas. Just them 5. Who's had the least amount of talent? All-American talent. Who's had the least?
Michigan State.
Wrong.
It's probably North Carolina, actually.
Wrong.
Or would you go with Kansas?
Roy had the least talented of them recruits.
You said teams. You didn't say coaches.
You said the last 5 years, Quinn?
Teams in the last 10 years. Duke has had the more stars. I said 10. Duke, Kansas, Michigan State has put all of the superstar #1, 2, 3 picks. They put them all in the draft. Am I lying?
Who?
I said North Carolina. I said North Carolina.
I'm a North Carolina fan too.
Roy Williams been
Who Michigan State put in the draft? Who Michigan State put in the league?
Roy Williams been here 3-4 times. They ain't been here 3-4 times.
The only people that Michigan State have put in the league is Draymond Green and Denzel.
And he was there for 4 years.
Yeah, that wasn't better talent. They didn't have that.
Bro, I said 10 years. Y'all gonna stop playing with me. That's 09.
Michigan State haven't had better talent than they haven't had better talent. They had better talent. We had better talent than Michigan State in the last 2 years. We have, bro. I'm just being real.
We cutting off Courtney. I would like to hear where you're going with this, but can you name the better talent?
Don't worry about it. Pull up the recruiting classes. Y'all got the chance. Y'all heard what I said over the 10 years. Pull up the recruiting class over 10 years. Michigan State has had a better. You're gonna see they.
Oh, you're talking about rankings on recruiting classes over 10 years. Okay.
Better recruiting classes.
Okay.
Michigan State, Duke.
Yeah, now that he has a point. Yeah, he's got a point there. On paper, the rankings have always been better.
Y'all making excuses.
Yeah, Roy Williams has only led the rankings. I think 2 out of the last 10 years. Duke has led it like 4 or 5 times.
So hold on, So Michigan State had better recruiting. We had better recruiting class than
on paper, Michigan State has led the recruiting classes on several. I mean, not led, but they've been like number 2 and number 3. They've been ahead of North Carolina and Kansas, to be perfectly honest, on several occasions.
In the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Besides those people you just named, I can't name nobody from Michigan
Y'all
State.
Y'all going to put the paperwork to that statement.
Hey, you got to pull that up. I don't believe that shit. And I'm a North Carolina fan.
Can I ask you something? Mikal Bridges is one, right? Where the kid from Memphis came from?
Okay, that's one person.
Hold on. The kid from Memphis came from there. Mikal
he did.
That's just the last 2 years.
Miles Bridges, not Mikal. Miles Bridges.
Yeah, Miles. You talking about Miles Bridges, Matthew Brogdon,
Hold on, stop.
Draymond Green.
Matthew Brogdon went to Virginia, DJ Sanfield.
Excuse me.
I'm sorry, you're right. Draymond Green.
Y'all going too far. Miles Bridges,
Okay.
Miles Bridges, Jerron Jackson. That's the last 2 years. Name North
Hey
Carolina.
man, I'm gonna start in 2000. I'm in 2009.
I'm just asking y'all. Name them.
I'm in 2009 right now.
You said the last 10 years, Harrison Barnes was
First,
the
you're
number
about
one
to go through the recruiting classes.
Bro,
Harrison
I'm
Barnes
in
was the number one
2000.
player
I'm
the
in 2009 right now. I'm in 2009 right now.
That's the year we
The
won.
year y'all won, the number one recruit in the nation was Harrison Barnes. Y'all got it.
I said
Harrison Barnes was the number one player in the nation.
ranking. Stop giving me one play. I'm about to hang up. I said the
Why are you
ranking.
hanging up?
Bro,
Bro, you just told me the top recruiting classes. Y'all had the number one in that recruiting class. Y'all had the number one, the number 15. Michigan State ain't on here. Michigan State don't show their name until they get Adrian Payne at 22. You got two of the top 15. Duke only got one in Kyrie Irving. Kentucky got this. Kansas at number 3. They got Josh Shelby.
Wait. D-Burst, are you talking about? Are you going by recruiting classes or the top draft picks? Because there's a
I'm in
difference.
the top. I'm on 2010. The top recruiting class in 2010.
Talking at once, bro.
I'm on the top recruiting class in 2010. The number one player in the country was Harrison Barnes. The number 2 player in the country was Kyrie Irving.
Jesus
What?
Christ, I keep saying that.
What you say?
He's saying you gotta go by the recruiting class of the team and not individual players.
Bro,
He's saying what's the ranking? What's the ranking of the recruiting class for that year? He's not saying who's got the best players. He's saying what on paper, how was the recruiting class ranked?
Bro, I don't care what recruiting class. In 2010, y'all picked up Kendall Marshall, Reggie Bullock, and Harrison Barnes. Miss me with the other stuff, man.
Yeah. But you ain't gotta tell me. I already know. You ain't gotta tell me. I know already, bro.
Excuse me. Yo, D-Burst don't get to change my argument into what makes him feel good. Because he knows when I say ranking classes, that's what Duke had 5 out of the last 6 years, and them niggas been losers.
But you said 10. You didn't go to. Hold on, bro. You said 10. You the one who with the 10. I didn't disagree with you at one. I did not disagree with you at one point when you said the last 5 or 6. Coach K is 1 out of the 6.
They was the number 1 ranking class, not player, class. Loser. 5 out of the last 6. Loser. You want to change the subject. That's not what I'm talking about.
I'm not changing the subject, bro. You said 10.
Because you got the number 1 player.
You said 10.
Because you got the number 1 player.
All right, hold on. Let's go. Hold on.
Bro,
Gentlemen.
It's okay.
Gentlemen, I'm gonna go through these recruiting classes year by year.
Oh, Jesus.
Okay, man. In 2010, Kentucky had the number 1. Ohio State was number 2. North Carolina was number 3. Memphis was number 4. Syracuse is number 5. No need to go any deeper than number 5.
Keep going. What Duke was? Because they
Duke was number 6.
Thank you.
Michigan. Hold on. I'm starting with 2010. Okay, so that's 20. Michigan, and just for the sake of argument, Michigan State was number 10. Okay. Now we going to 20. Now we're going to 2011.
Hold on, D. We have 2010 right now. We got Kansas, we got Duke, we got Michigan State.
Hold on. Watch this, 2010, number 1, the number 1 recruiting class was Kentucky. Number 2 was Ohio State. Number 3 was North Carolina. Number 4 was Memphis. Number 5 was Syracuse. Outside of the top 5, number 6 was Duke. Number 10 was Michigan State. Kansas was not in the top 15.
Okay, cool. Go to 2011.
All right. 2011.
Hey, D, all you got to do is do Michigan State and UNC. You ain't got to do all the other teams.
No, we're going to do them all.
Hey, you ain't got to. I already know they don't have better recruiting class than us. I already knew they did.
Bo, he's the Duke fan. Watch when it gets spooky when he really.
All right.
It's not spooky, bro. I already acknowledged that you was right in the last 6 years. He's got 1 ring.
Hold on.
And he
lost. 2011. Kentucky number 1. Duke number 2. Louisville number 3. Arizona number 4. Texas number 5. Outside of the top 5, with reference to the teams that we are discussing, North Carolina is number 12. Michigan State is number 19.
Okay.
All right.
Michigan State don't get better recruits than us, bro. Ain't no point of even talking about this.
This is true.
That's what I'm saying.
Going to the 2012 recruiting class. Kentucky is number 1 again. UCLA is number 2. Arizona is number 3. North Carolina State is number 4. Baylor is number 4. But Baylor is number 5.
Where's Duke in North Carolina?
Outside of the top 5 with respect to the teams that we are talking about. And just to give you why certain people are why teams are ranked high, that in 2012 UCLA recruited Shabazz Muhammad, Kyle Anderson, and Tony Parker. They also had Jordan Adams as a consolation check.
Man,
whatever.
I just know the numbers, dog.
Okay, outside of the top 5 with respect to the teams that we are talking about, number 7 is North Carolina with Marcus Page, Bryce Johnson, Joel James, and JP Takoto. Motherfuckers that don't even. Yeah,
I like him though. He ended up being solid by year 4.
And then number 9 is Duke with Rasheed Suleiman and Emil Jefferson. Number 11 is Michigan State with Gary Harris, Matt Casello, Kenny, and then Denzel Valentine.
You said Michigan State is who?
Michigan State is number 11.
So that's
11.
4 years in a That's 4 years in a row. That's 4 years in a row. UNC had better recruiting class than Michigan State.
Okay, so that's 2012, right? All right. 2013.
Two out of them three too better than Duke's too. I think Coach K had to cross over. He wasn't getting them recruits. But keep going.
Okay, 2013 recruiting class. Number 1, Kentucky for the 4th year in a row. Number 1, Kentucky with the 4th year in a row. That's Andrew Harrison, Aaron Harrison, and Derek Williams.
You ain't gotta name the players. Just keep going.
I'm just giving you just for validity's purposes.
Come on, D.
Florida, Memphis, Louisville. Number 5 is Duke. Number 6 is Michigan. With respect to the teams that we're talking about, Michigan State is not even in the top 10. North Carolina is number 9.
Okay,
Kansas is number 7.
Then we got to keep going. Obviously, we know North Carolina get better recruiting class than Michigan State. Can we go to the next topic now? Do we got to even keep wasting our time with this shit? I told y'all we get better recruiting class than them.
I said that from the jump. My answer was Michigan State.
They get a player every now and then, but they don't get a better recruiting class than us.
It's time to go better. Let's go to the main point. It's time to go better.
No, we all said that already, bro.
No, he's not. Roy Williams is one championship away to be right there with Coach K.
Why is he
We said Roy Williams. We said Coach K. We said Roy Williams, Coach K, Jay Wright, and who else you say, boy? It was one more coach that you said.
I said that after that, you got to talk about Enzo and
exactly.
whoever.
In basketball right now, why is Coach K higher than not history? Why is Coach K higher than Roy Williams?
Because he got more rings. That's the only reason.
No, nigga, right now. We're not talking about in his history.
We have to talk about his history because Coach.
We got to talk about his history. You can't talk about.
If we talk about his history, Roy Williams didn't become what you're trying to make him until he came home. He was not that at Kansas. Because he couldn't win. He was like Izzo at Kansas.
Wait. In the last 5 years, Bert,
man,
who's
in the last 5 years,
who's been a better coach?
In the last 5 years, you have how many were in the last 5 years? Y'all got 2 rings, right? 2 championships.
No, I just want to know who's been the better.
We both. They got one. We got one. Duke got one, and we got one in the last 5 years. So what's the point? They got better recruiting. I mean, all right.
Yeah, I
the same people that'll tell you this is don't pay him no mind. Bert will tell you Coach K better than Dean Smith. Because he had the All-Americans and ain't get it done. And then now he got the All-Americans and not getting it done. And then they can give you another excuse, bro.
Not give you another excuse. Coach K built the Duke program for nothing. He was out there winning with Christian Laettner, man. Like, stop playing with me. North Carolina.
Yo, don't disrespect Christian Laettner like he was a bum, dog.
Disrespecting him, but he ain't Michael Jordan. He ain't Rasheed Wallace. And he ain't Jerry Stackhouse. Like, I'm not doing that, bro. This man built Duke from nothing. Duke was nothing before Coach K got there. Just like when North Carolina was nothing before North Carolina got there, but he coached for 40 years and got 2 rings. What are we talking about here?
Yo,
like, let's be real here. Coach K established his legacy during Dean Smith's era.
Yo, I've seen the Stanford Cardinal. I've seen the Stanford Cardinal and Princeton in the Final Four, that doesn't mean that your coach is a better coach. It just means that you went on a great run.
Can I say something, please? Not Roy Williams. Dean Smith done had some amazing teams too, and he choked. We didn't even win with Rasheed Wallace and Jerry Stackhouse. We lost.
I respect what.
And we had Vince Carter and Antoine Jackson.
You're arguing for no reason with Burks because I'm not disagreeing. Listen to what I'm saying, Bo. That argument works for them. And it always worked for dudes like Duke fans who didn't want to give Dean Smith credit. But it's different now.
You keep talking about not giving Dean Smith credit. I gave Dean Smith his credit.
All-Americans and he's fucking losing every fucking year. Every year.
Oh my God.
Burks did say Coach K been choking. He did say that.
Right. He act like I didn't say it already. Like, this is the part that bothers me. I've already acknowledged it. Then again, hold on, Bo. Then again, this is why I said, because I'm glad that you went to the recruiting class to give validity to what I was trying to say earlier, but you said it was Bo, and Courtney. D. Stanfield, and just proved my point was what I was saying, that Coach K had a way of doing his thing that was making him successful. He elected, he elected to go the other route, and he only got one championship during that route, period. He still won one.
Now, it's interesting that you bring up that point, and I actually understand both points. I understand the fact that
winning no championship.
I understand the fact I understand where Courtney's coming from, and I understand where you're coming from, D.
How
Burks.
can you use the argument on one end and then change it later in years in life?
I didn't change. What did I change? What did I change, man?
Can I say something again, please?
What are you talking about? Nobody saying anything, man. You hyping up Dean Smith. I respect what Dean Smith did with basketball. But if Michael Jordan, had a true freshman, did not hit that shot in the last seconds of the game, Georgetown was winning. And if Chris Webber didn't call no timeout, he wouldn't have no rings. Like, tell the truth.
Can I say something, please? Can I say something? Because I never get to talk. I love Dean Smith, but Dean Smith done had at least 4 players that played for him that's better than everybody that ever went to Duke and only got 2 rings. Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, Antoine Jameson, and James Worthy, they better than everybody that ever played at Duke. And he only got 2 rings. Duke just got that first Hall of Famer last year in Gray Hill.
Jed went.
That's all I got to say, man. Can we go to the next topic, please?
Okay.
So I have no more discussion because on one hand you'll tell me Dean Smith had it early, he didn't win. Coach K's better, he built it from nothing. And now Coach K in the last 6 years, in the last 6 years, he got 1 championship.
So let me ask you this. So I understand where Courtney is going with this. So let me ask you this. Wait, stop. Let me ask you this. Because I understand what Courtney is trying to say. So let me ask the definitive question here. At this stage, is Coach K still the best coach in the game?
Yes.
How do you say that? How do you say that? That's ultimately where Courtney is going with this. How do you say that? How do you say that when ultimately over the past 5 years, he has undoubtedly had the best team in NCAA basketball recruiting wise?
You trying to say that y'all are basically saying that you have the best recruiting class, which is what gives you the best team. I don't believe that concept. It's not what I believe.
So what is your
upperclassmen with the right younger classmen in the system and everybody joining together to win? Duke hasn't had that. We've seen Duke play all year. They had the talent, but they didn't have the best team. We've seen them play all year.
Can I ask you a question, D?
Absolutely. Keep in mind, don't direct any arguments towards me because I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Hey, D, can I say something?
Go ahead.
Did Duke have better talent than us this year, right?
Absolutely.
1
to 5. 1 to 5 they did. 1 to 5, not on the bench.
I would have traded Cam Johnson. Right now, we in the ship.
If you're saying to me, is Duke's starting 5 better than North Carolina's starting 5? I'm saying yes. If you're saying to me that if Duke's 1 to 15 is better than North Carolina's, I'm saying that that's not the case.
Trey Jones wasn't better than Kobe White. Don't do that, D.
I'm asking a question.
No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He's not better than Kobe White. And I'm sorry, Cam Reddish is gonna go higher in the draft than Cam Johnson, but he's not better than Cam Johnson right now. He's not.
That's all I'm saying. This is what I don't like. This is what I don't like.
So ultimately, Bo, what was your question?
I said Duke had the better talent, but we had a better team than them this year.
I think that the common consensus.
Let me talk, D. That's what Bert's saying. Bert is basically saying just because you have the #1 recruiting class doesn't mean you have a better team.
That's what I agree. Saying. I agree with that. I just said I feel like, and I don't know if
you got a better team.
No, what Courtney is saying is if you have the top recruiting class over a period of time repeatedly, why is it that you have no national championships? That's a different conversation.
First, he went from 5. Then he went to 6. If you go 6, I got 1. Then he went to 10, and he started to see that in the last 10, we got 3.
This was just wrong. This is be real.
It is a Duke and North Carolina argument, bro. Courtney loves Roy Williams, but Roy Williams wasn't what Roy Williams was until he came home to that franchise. That's why when y'all played Kansas in the tournament, in my opinion, when y'all had the better team, the team that won the next year, y'all came back with the exact same team. Y'all had a better team than Kansas. Kansas beat y'all, and in the championship game, he was wearing Kansas gear because he's a Jayhawk. Like, stop playing with me, man. He came home. And coming home helped him. That helped him.
That is.
I told you that 2 weeks ago. I told you Roy Williams wasn't shit until he came to Carolina.
I've been saying that.
But I told you in the group chat, and you told me
no. No, that's not me. That's Courtney.
I don't think it's fair. And I understand where you guys are coming from. And this is the last. This is going to be the end of this segment. I don't think it's fair for anybody to say that Roy Williams was nothing when he was constantly for years in the Final Four conversation. Just because he didn't get it, let me finish because we're moving on after this. I don't think it's fair for you to say that he wasn't nothing just because he didn't get it done in the big games. Because to both of your points, Coach K and Roy Williams and Dean Smith have not gotten it done in the big games when they've had clearly the best team in college basketball. I'm not going to go back. Listen, stop it. Because they've had the best team in college basketball on numerous occasions. I'm not talking about just this year. Now, moving on, we've established that nobody in this chat. We've established that nobody in this chat believes that Tom Izzo, with the exception of me, we've established that nobody in this chat believes that Tom Izzo is the second best coach in the game. I personally would discount that. I've personally been in the presence of Tom Izzo coaching on one occasion. I've had experience around, and I've watched him coach. I think that he is one of the brighter minds in coaching today. He's been adaptable to the extent of Greg Popovich, but that's not where we want to go with that. We want to move on. So moving on, we had a national championship winner tonight. The Baylor female Bears overcame the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Female Fighting Irish, 82-81 in a nail biter. So with Baylor getting another national championship, is it fair to say, D. Burtz, that they are establishing a dynasty, or do we still need to give them time to do so?
Well, one thing that's good about the women's game right now is that you're starting to finally see parity. It's been UConn dominated for a while, but you've seen teams like Stanford, Louisville. Shout out to Louisville. And teams like I said, Stanford, Notre Dame, Louisville, Baylor, they're starting to establish their
South Carolina.
Shout out to Dawn Staley. I was just shouting her out earlier today, actually. And they are creating the parity that the women's game desperately needed. Because Gino Auriemma, he was doing what he was supposed to do with the squads that he had. He was getting it done. Once Pat Summitt got out, rest in peace to the great Pat Summitt, it was over with for about 10 to 12 years. It was over. Like, he was running through that thing and he was doing what he needed to do with it. But I like the fact that it's starting to bring parity back to the women's game. They need that.
Absolutely. I totally agree with that. Do you see, Bo 2.0, do you see anybody seriously competing with what we would call the Big Four in women's college basketball, being South Carolina, Actually, I would call them a Big Five: South Carolina, Louisville, UConn, Baylor, and Notre Dame. Do you see anybody seriously competing with them over the next few years, maybe outside of maybe a Stanford Cardinal?
I'm waiting for Tennessee to get back, man. Before it was UConn, it was Tennessee. It was Tennessee first, then UConn, then you know what I mean. You had Notre Dame winning last year, Baylor won this year. Right. I want to see Tennessee get back. I mean, I didn't even watch the game today, but I feel like UConn's going to win next year. I mean, they haven't won back-to-back years. I can't see them not winning 3 years in a row. I just can't see it.
Well, I can honestly say if you didn't watch the game today, you definitely missed a nail biter, and it was a pleasure to watch. The women's game is historically and even in today fundamentally sound. It's a beautiful thing to watch. They actually play the game of basketball, in my opinion, the way that it's supposed to be played. But there's something that I wanted to point out. And D-Bird, you brought up Gino Auriemma, and so I want to harp on something that you said earlier today. So Gino Auriemma was on record saying that the reason why college coaches are not getting the most out of their players today is because they're afraid of their players. They can't yell at their players the way that they want to. Players are too emotional, and when it comes to being able to push their players to the limits, they're not able to do so because of the rules and the limitations that they're facing in today's game. How do you feel about that comment, and what do you feel like the ultimate solution is with regard to that comment?
Well, we know why that comment brings validity to what he's saying, and that's because the players are not getting paid. Like let's just be clear. Let's put it in its proper perspective, coach. You can do what you want to do, yell at these players, ask all of these demands, and at the end of the day, these players, especially in your game, the women's game, are not being able to earn top compensation for their services, because they make a huge deal about what the men's game does, but at least some of those players have an opportunity to go make a living outside of the college basketball when they're finished. But the women's game, no, there are a lot of those women are going pro in other things. So let's be clear about that. That is one of the reasons why you feel like he said, and D. Stanford, you got to put it in his proper context. He said he feels that way because then players would want to leave. I think he's speaking to the standpoint of the parity that's going on, people not coming to UConn because they don't want to do what he got going on.
And maybe the ultimate changes that are coming to the transfer rules and things of that nature with regarding to universities not being able to prohibit players from standing up with their commitments, even though the universities have not necessarily stood on their commitments to these players when they've gotten injured and things of that nature. I think that is an excellent point, D. Burtz. Thank you for putting that in its proper perspective. Bo 2.0, what's your take on this? How do you feel about that?
I mean, I feel like he said what he said because he's a man coach coaching women. So obviously he can't yell at them like he can yell at some dudes. Because Coach Calipari be yelling at them, his players. I watch him. He be yelling at them like a motherfucker. So I feel like he said what he said because he's a man and he can't really be seen yelling at a woman on the sideline. That's how I feel. What will yell at players?
You bring up an excellent point. Do you think that and I hate to bring up something from the past, but I have a little bit of insight on that on this particular incident. Do you think that mentality is ultimately what prohibited him from keeping Elena Deladon in the stable to continue that tradition on with UConn winning championships back to back?
Well, she chose not to go there.
No, she was there and she ultimately left.
Yeah, but that was
the excuse that she used was that she was homesick.
She didn't want to play basketball no more. She was done with basketball. I watched her interview. She was done with basketball. She didn't want to hoop. She didn't want to hoop no more because she said that's all she did her whole life, and she just got tired of it. She got drained from the game. It wore out. So it wasn't nothing to do with Gino.
But that could be
to basketball.
But Bo, that could be to D. Stanfield's point as far as the pressure that or
he was feeling, yeah.
Or I will say the expectations that her coach was putting upon her, she couldn't handle it at the time. That happens. That happens. Like some coaches have the tactic that they choose to use, that they challenge your character, and how you choose to respond pretty much lets them know what type of player you are.
I honestly could not imagine a team with Maya Moore and Elena Deladon on the same team.
The only thing would have happened was what almost happened. They would have won all the games.
for 2 years straight.
They won all the games, man.
I'm still upset that Gino never won a coach man yet. I mean, I feel like he should have took his talents elsewhere.
I feel the same way about Nick Saban.
Nick Saban went to the league for
but
Gino never went to the league.
Listen though,
he never even went to the men's side.
But this is what I'm saying. This is what you got to understand when you get to that caliber of coach. When you have ultimate control of the program, when you start going to other programs and you go to other teams and you go to the other organizations, that paradigm shifts. And because that paradigm shifts, you may not ultimately want to deal with that. So you relatively just stay where you're at.
Your question. You think he could have had ultimate control of the man basketball team there? Because he could have had the job as the man when Joe Calhoun left. They offered him the job.
Yeah, he didn't want it.
He could have had the control of the man basketball team.
He didn't want it.
He didn't want that pressure.
He didn't want it.
He didn't want to be a loser. That's what it was.
Hey, be that as it may, that you're not making a bad point. But what I'm just saying is, when it comes to certain coaches, that there's no reason why Coach K ever left Duke. Come on, man, that make complete control. He's in complete control. He is the president of basketball operations. He is the GM. Them guys run that entire show. They only have to answer to the AD, and they ain't really answering to the AD.
Courtney Denzel Chappelle, you've joined the show back, man, and welcome back, man. We were talking about the Gino Auriemma comments with respect to him not being able to properly, in his eyes, address the players in the manner that that he had done so in the past, specifically to get the most optimum output from said players, because he thought that they would be inclined to leave, and with the changes to the transfer rules and things of that nature, he doesn't think that they are giving college coaches an opportunity to get the best out of their players. What is your output on that? What's your opinion, and do you think that Gino has a point?
This is the first time I'm hearing it. I absolutely did not hear nothing about it, like, at all. This is the first time I'm hearing about it. So I'm taking it from the context of how you said it. Sounds like a super excuse. You got to adjust. I mean, the times are different. It does make it a little tougher because you was able to just freely say and do as you want. But who's to say these players at that point? I mean, yeah, they took it and they got better and they made them good. But who's to say that they necessarily liked it all the time? Some could have took it some type of way, but at the time they ain't really had the power or the voice to speak up, and now they do. I don't think it's cool that they making excuses for them having to adjust to things that's, you know what I mean? The times are different now. Before, when y'all had it, it's no fun when the rabbit got the gun, right?
Right.
When y'all had all the power and y'all could control everything, and y'all could make a player look like a bad player, y'all could bench him and make it look like they not good. When y'all had the power to manipulate players and treat them any way y'all wanted to, y'all did. And nobody judged y'all. I mean, we had issues with it, but nobody could do nothing. It's a different day and age, and you got to adjust. You so great, you so good, learn to be able to adjust. I take it from a great Jada Kiss line, where everybody's so mad at the South for. Learn how to switch your style up and go southpaw.
That's a fact. That's an excellent take. All right, guys. So I'm gonna jump right into our last subject of the night. We got Texas Tech and Virginia in the national championship game. We've already seen the winner on the women's side. Again, congratulations to Baylor. Excellent game, nail biter. Kudos to you guys, and congratulations again. But now we're talking about the men. So tomorrow night, the men's basketball national championship will be played between Texas Tech and Virginia. And so, guys, I want to know who you got. Courtney Denzel Chappelle, since you're jumping back into the show, I'm going to start with you. Who do you got in tomorrow's game, and why?
I'm going to be honest with you. I don't like neither team, but because I'm hating, and if it ain't Carolina winning, I don't want to see no ACC winning. I'm not with that. Oh, it's ACC. We still brought it home. No, fuck that. So I'm riding with Texas Tech. Y'all go get them, boys. Watch Cal Guy. He's the real threat. Don't worry about them other dudes. I'm telling you who the issue is. The fire starter is Cal Guy. You shut him up, the rest of them going to get in line. DeAndre Hunter play hard, but yeah, that shit cute, so you get some real ones out there. Y'all know what I mean by with some real ones. All that play hard ain't going to work. We all play hard. You're going to need a little bit more, brother. And Mr. Culliver, you don't get the BS like you did yesterday, brother. You're going to have to show up, Mr. Lottery pick. I want to see some lottery playing because you was trash the other night. I'm going to keep it real with you. I'm 5 seconds up off you too.
He was trash, my guy, until the last minute and 31 seconds of that game. He did it then.
Well, you said he was trash, Mr. D. Burt. So I'm gonna jump over to you, man. Who do you got in tomorrow's game and why?
Well, I'm honestly leaning towards Virginia myself. I think Virginia is a team that's destined for this. This has been one of their goals all season, trying to right the wrongs of last season. I like the way that they execute the offense. But what scares me, well, I'm not gonna say what scares me, but what concerns me about Virginia is that their pace of play, they play so slow that Texas Tech is gonna be in the game because of that reason. Like, even if Texas Tech is struggling, Virginia is so methodical in their approach. Teams be in the game with them that shouldn't even be in the game with them because they don't run at all. Like, they literally get the rebound and they just walk it up. And for that reason, I think that matchup wise, I think that Virginia is going to be able to match up with them pretty well. And I think that their big men are going to play better than Michigan State big men did in finishing around the basket. Instead of relying solely on free throws, they're going to convert some of those into and ones.
So you got Virginia in the game tomorrow, correct? Okay, all right. Bo 2.0, who you got?
I'm going with Texas Tech, man. To piggyback on what Courtney said, I'm an ACC guy.
Now, don't piggyback on what Courtney said. You pick at Texas Tech because you said that's the best talk. In the history of basketball. No, I'm going to make you say what you're going to say.
I'm about to say what I'm about to say. I ain't going to sugarcoat nothing.
No, you better say it just like that. You said that Texas Tech is the best defensive team in the history of basketball. What you say?
Guys, go ahead, Bo.
Please. I'm going with Texas Tech because I think they're the best defensive team I've ever seen in my life. That's what I said. You got 2 lottery picks in this game tomorrow. Culliver and DeAndre Hunter. Culliver should be the best player on the court tomorrow. Like you said, he can't have no bad game like he did the other night. He can't do it. And I'm not like, I'm an ACC guy, so I don't want to see Virginia win. I can't stand them motherfuckers. I can't. And I ain't gonna be like the SEC fans. Oh, when Alabama win a goddamn college football, when they win the crystal ball, they be like, oh, the SEC tough. No, Alabama tough. Y'all ain't tough. Alabama tough.
But hey, Bo, the only team that do that. Hey, Bo, the only team that do that. Like, let's be real. That's the Georgia Bulldogs. I'm a Bulldog. Yeah. I understand. That's what we do. The Florida Gators do not do that. They got their own rings.
Yeah.
Gators don't do that.
Yeah, that shit weak. But I'm going with Texas Tech, man. I think it's gonna be a defensive game. It's gonna be a low scoring game. Score might be like 53-48 or some shit like that.
Both teams do play defense very well.
Yeah, but I'm going with Texas Tech, man. You just gotta make, like you said, you shut down Kai Guy and Ty Jerome and Kai Guy, man. Make DeAndre Hunter needs to be that leading scorer tomorrow. If he's that leading scorer, I don't think they win the game.
Okay.
That's all I got to say.
Don't be shocked Bo, because remember, Michigan State, their big men just wasn't finishing. They weren't finishing. He's going to finish some of those buckets. Michigan State was going to the free throw line.
Well, let's be clear. Let's be clear, and this is going to my point. Texas Tech, for all intents and purposes, are longer. Pause. They are stronger. Maybe precautionary pause. And they are a better rebounding and defensive team than Virginia. The question is
the defensive team in the country.
The question, right? Yeah, but the question is, are they going to be able to score the basketball with the same velocity that they've been scoring the basketball throughout the tournament? I don't think that Texas Tech has seen a defense equivalent to theirs like they are going to see tomorrow against Virginia, and Virginia does have they do have a few players that come out off the bench and give them relief, and so I think it's going to be, to Bo's point, I think it's going to be a tight game. I'm going to go in the direction of Texas Tech as well, and here's why. Earlier, I think about a week and a half ago, we had a discussion in the chat that talked about Culliver and how he should necessarily be he could possibly be a top 5 lottery pick. I think that he has shown his worth throughout the entirety of this NCAA tournament, and I think that tomorrow will be no exception. And so I'm going to go with Texas Tech. I also am an ACC guy, North Carolina guy, so I don't want anybody else to win, but that has nothing to do with how I feel this game is going to go. I think that the team that plays the better defense and shoots the free throws better is going to ultimately win. Now, the free throw advantage is obviously going to go to Virginia, but I feel like Texas Tech, if they rebound like they're supposed to and they block shots and play defense like they're supposed to, they'll ultimately come out as the winner.
Another reason why I'm going with Texas Tech, because I feel like Virginia shouldn't be there. That's another reason I'm going with Texas Tech.
Well, that's why I covered that in the very beginning, and I echo those sentiments as well. I don't think Virginia should be there either, but I also don't think that necessarily the refs made a bad call on the final shot. But that's
they there, and Texas Tech better not think it's sweet, because Virginia
they better not overstep Virginia, because Virginia is a dangerous team if they get the shots rolling.
Virginia,
all right, guys,
get what's theirs. They felt that it was there. It's not their fault that they was the only #1 seed.
They've been feeling like it's been theirs for the last 3 years. Let's be quite honest.
Yeah, they coming to get it.
They just haven't gotten it done. So tomorrow might be their day, especially if they can make free throws at the rate that they've been making. Because I do feel like, because of Texas Tech's aggression and Virginia's willingness to to pump fake the ball, I think that Texas Tech will be in foul trouble early, and if Virginia can make the free throws, Texas Tech may find themselves in a situation that they haven't found themselves in throughout the entirety of the tournament. All right, guys, so I'm gonna jump into the final comment. It is winding down to the last 2 minutes, and so we have our final fresh take, fresh perspective, and I'm gonna jump on over to Bo 2.0 for your final comments on tonight's show.
Well, my final take is next week, man, the best time of the year for me. Got NBA playoffs starting next week. I'm excited about that. You got the draft coming up in 2 weeks. NFL draft. I'm excited about that. You got Game of Thrones come back on this Sunday. I'm excited about that. Hey, this is a good time for me, man. That's all I got to say. Let's get it. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, man. Victory Lap was the best rap album in 2018, and Victory Lap is the top 10 rap album to me all time. That's all I got to say. Before he died, it was top 10 all time to me.
Which you and I have had those private conversations, and exactly. I don't know about top 10, but you know how I feel about his album as well. So, rest in peace to Nipsey Hussle. All right, D Burks, man, or tactician. Final comments, man. Go ahead and give it to us.
It's a good time for basketball. Right now, you're starting to see a change in the game, and it's starting to shift towards the people who really want it. It's starting to show the guys who really have the grit and really willing to put it all on the line to get the wins. There's no more favoritism just because you have this certain name on your jersey, you're supposed to be there. Now they're starting to get it back right. People who want the championships are going to get them, and I'm happy for that. Seeing that start on the high school level, seeing that sentiment on the collegiate level. I love what Greek Freak and Joel Embiid is starting to build in the NBA over there in the Eastern Conference. They want it. They're working towards it. And if you're getting in their way, they're willing to step on you to get it. And I just hope that they continue that throughout the playoffs and realize if one of those teams get to the championship game, if it's not the Golden State Warriors, they should not be denied.
Excellent points. I'm gonna save Courtney too. I'm gonna save Courtney worldwide for the last take. I'm gonna go ahead and get my last take on this one. First of all, shout out to the Rise Up family. Shout out to the entire Fresh Perspective family. Shout out to RB the Breakthrough, man. Support your show, man. Hope you get your issues resolved with the YouTube channel. And shout out to women's basketball. And this is alluded to my final take, man. I thoroughly enjoyed today's women's national championship game. I thought it was well played. I thought that Baylor and Notre Dame played an excellent game. I thought that the entire NCAA women's basketball tournament was solid from what I was able to catch. The amount of parity that you see in women's basketball is refreshing because for the last 4 or 5 or 10 years, actually, we had nothing to look forward to outside of UConn, Stanford, and at times Baylor. And so for the most part, I am thoroughly pleased with where women's basketball is going. We have a lot to look forward to. Courtney Denzel Chappelle forwarded a video to me, and thank you, Courtney, to the video with the girl doing the reverse dunk. And so I thoroughly enjoy that, and I'm looking forward to more women's basketball coming next year. So kudos to the women's game, and kudos to NCAA basketball as a whole. I think you guys do it right, despite all of the negative pub that's going on right now with the Nike and all that BS. So kudos to you all. Shout out to the HBCUs. Keep it moving. And I'm going to move on to Courtney Denzel Chappelle for your final take, sir.
I think it's a good time in sports, man. That's pretty much my take, man. It's a good time in sports. I'm glad to see baseball back. Glad to see the Yankees out here playing together a little bit. We got a little bit of interest here and there. I'm excited
Man,
for that.
shout
I'm
out my
excited for the
Phillies, man.
offseason.
Shout out my Phillies.
Yeah, you was too late. You forgot about him. You ain't thinking about it. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, you're right.
NFL draft coming up too. I'm actually excited for this. Believe it or not, I like this Giant team a little bit more. I got some specifics I'll talk about next week that I would like to see us do in the draft. But I'm not too down on my team right now. I actually like us. I keep trying to tell you, I think we still better than Philly, that we better than Washington. I just don't know about the Cowboys.
I don't know what you smoking, but it's all good.
I hear you, brother. Big off season. I'm excited for the
long
offseason.
Long as Eli there, we good.
So I'm at a good space right now. I'll address Nipsey a little bit later. I'm not there at that point. Rest in peace, of course.
Hey, can I ask you a question, Courtney?
I think you tripping, Bo, with the top 10 ever. Though the album is classic, but it goes into a category of classic. Ever is it's a little different. But
it's in my top.
Yeah, I got you. I know it's yours. I got you. I know it's yours.
If your Knicks don't get Kevin Durant or Kyrie Irving this summer, do you think that's a failure to y'all? If you don't get one of those guys, is it a failure?
Nah. No, because we're not expected to get it. For us, it would be a light. It's not a failure if you don't get them. Stick to the script and keep building. It's never this the problem. New York going to this belief that it's a failure. I didn't get them. It's a lot of teams that's not getting them, and I'm gonna address this more potently later as I'm working on something. There's a lot of people that hasn't really been getting them. They can't make the mistake. Oh, we didn't get some, so they reach. No, if you don't get Kevin Durant, don't get nobody and draft, build, and continue to keep doing it the way y'all doing it. If you do get Kevin Durant, then you could go, but still don't sell the farm off neither. Do not put. I'll say this to what you just said. Do not put Kevin Durant in a position that LeBron James is in now, chasing and looking. Put Kevin Durant in a situation where he can lead, he can show the way, he can give the game, and by the time he gets to that age and that point where he can't do it enough, he's taught his young as well enough that they can lead the pack for him, and he just got to close it.
Okay.
That's the only way they can go.
If y'all don't get KD, Kyrie, or Zion Williams, you stay. It don't matter. It's all
I don't want Zion Williamson. I know you don't want him. It's not a failure to me. You asking my opinion. Think about what you're saying. You asking my opinion. I don't want him. Yeah. Listen,
I know you don't want him.
Look, everybody's soft. Watch this. I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna put it on wax for you as we end. We got the higher chance to get a 5th pick, right? It would not hurt me if we got the 5th pick and I got Cam Reddish. I'd be ecstatic.
Yeah.
I'd be ecstatic. I would be
ecstatic. But you do know if y'all get the 1st pick, y'all taking them, right?
Duh. And I hope we take them and we trade them. I don't want them. I don't want them. If we get them, send them for AD.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm not saying Zion not good. I think he'll be a lightsaber in New York. He will get crazy. I just don't count on people putting that Duke jersey on and that 300-pound body, doing that over 82 games in the playoffs. I don't know how many years I'm going to get out of that. I might get 4 or 5, but I'm not sure right now. I see Blake Griffin. I ain't going to lie. He got more heart than Blake, though. I give Zion that. He showed me something in this playoff. I will not hate it. His NCAA tournament, Zion showed me something. He showed me he did have heart. He's not a sucker.
Yeah, Blake soft.
So I will give him
Blake Griffin soft. Yeah. Blake Griffin is soft.
Yeah, Blake is soft. He's not soft as Blake. He won it, and I'll give Zion that credit. He did show that. I will not take that from him.
All right, guys, man. I'd like to send a shout out to everybody that was watching us. I'd like to send a shout out to everybody who's thinking about watching us. Make sure you like, subscribe to the channel. Make sure you share it. Make sure you get us out there, man. Fresh Perspective Radio, Fresh Perspective Sports. We are out here, man. Shout out to Mean Street Studios. Shout out to Antonio McFadden, PC, DJ Problem Child. Shout out to Troy Carroll. Shout out to Randy Wilson and everybody that has helped and responsible for getting the Fresh Perspective page out there. The Rise Up family for promoting us. And shout out to SMC, Stanfield Management Group. And man, thank you for everybody who had any contribution for us, man. Like I said, like the page, subscribe to the page, and make sure you share us, man. We're gonna end out tonight on Nipsey Hussle again. Real big. This is real big. Nipsey Hussle featuring Marsha Ambrosius. It's my boy. This is my boy Bo 2.0 favorite song. He put me onto this album, man. So shout out to you, Bo. Rest in peace, Nipsey, man. And we will touch on you in the coming weeks, man. But you all have a great night, and thanks again for your support.
Left my record label, just got more rich. Switched it up, that's me singing on the chorus. Still I spit more, so good. Chorus, no stutter. Top floor, no clutter. Hardwood floors.